What's up, guys? Are you looking for a gimbal for your Lumix G7? You probably are if you are watching this video, or you probably just want to know some accessories that will probably go good for the Lumix G7. Well, if you keep watching this video, I'm going to tell you about my favorite gimbal. It's called the Moza Aircross 2, and I'm on it right now. As you can see, I'm running and everything, and it's just smooth. So keep watching the video, and I'm going to show you guys how I use it and where you can get it too. Let's go. Okay guys, so let me just go ahead and forewarn you right now that this is not a detailed, like very technical type of review, or even really a review of the Moza Aircross 2. This is just me giving my personal and professional opinion on what type of gimbal you should get for the Lumix G7. And it just so happens that after using multiple different gimbals over the course of, I would say, about a year or so with the Lumix G7, one thing I can say is that the Moza Aircross 2 is hands down the best gimbal I've ever, first of all, even used, but definitely the best gimbal that I would choose to use with the Lumix G7. You know what I just realized? I probably should show you guys how easy it is to balance a Lumix G7 on this gimbal. Right, let me go ahead and unscrew the bottom. One thing that I like a lot about this gimbal is that you can lock all the axes. There's like little lock buttons on each side of each axis. So I can really store this away or have it sitting here. It can double as a mini tripod for my camera, which is something that's really awesome as well. I can use that wherever I go. These little legs that are on the bottom of this gimbal, I didn't buy these separately. They definitely came with the Moza Aircross 2, which is something I love. I didn't have on my other gimbal. I had to buy a separate piece and it didn't really quite match, made it work. The feel of this structure is very sturdy. Now, when it comes to balancing a camera on any gimbal, it does get a little difficult if you don't have the ability to lock this or even have a tripod on the bottom of your gimbal, which is another reason why I love this Moza Aircross 2. So the first thing I do is I make sure everything's locked, and then I just line up the screw here at the bottom. That's another cool thing about the Moza Aircross 2. The screw that's in here on the base plate doesn't come out. So I can't tell you how many times I had my Zion crane and I was out and about and I brought the crane with me, but I forgot to have the piece that mounts it to the actual crane, so I couldn't even get the gimbal shots that I wanted. I love the fact that they have this mounting piece that stays in here. So all I do is I line it up, I screw it in, boom. I hand tighten it, but I also like to use like a coin or something to really get in there and tighten it just a little bit tighter than hand tightening. And then what I do is I start off one axis at a time, usually like the roll. So I'll unscrew the roll, and as I see it's not balanced, so all I gotta do is untighten that. Boom, first try almost, like that's almost perfect. Let me just do just a little bit more. Boom. It's balanced. So I'm gonna go ahead and lock that axis, and I'm gonna go with the tilt. It's dipping just a little bit, maybe back it up a little some. Boom, it's balanced. Now, one thing I can say, because of the Lumix G7 is so light, I kind of can get away with a little bit of not being exactly perfect. Now, all I have to do is unlock all the axes. Is that a word? All the axes. Is that a word? All I have to do is unlock everything and then hold this button down, which is the way you turn the actual gimbal on. You hold it down for like 2 or 3 seconds, let go, and it balances itself. Also, you'll notice that there's like a little light that lights up here that just lets you know that the gimbal is on. I also like it because in the dark, it kind of draws attention to me. Now, a lot of people don't like attention when they're using a gimbal. I don't mind the attention, because honestly, when people come up to me and ask me questions, it kind of gives me the perfect opportunity to possibly pitch them on like, well, hey, if you need a videographer, here's my card. Now this gimbal is awesome. Look at this. I mean, just it's like perfection. So smooth. I can control also here on the back how fast or how slow the gimbal moves in response to my turns. But like I said, I'm not gonna get too deep into why I love this gimbal, but just know that this is the best bang for your buck if you're trying to use the Lumix G7 and you want to start making some cinematic vlogs like the ones that I do, or just cinematic videos in general. This is one of the best gimbals for you. The Moza Aircross 2 I just got it from Best Buy. I've had it for about a week now. I already did a lot of research on it about doing the same thing you're doing right now, by watching a lot of YouTube videos. And one thing I can say is I am so glad I bought this gimbal. This gimbal is so powerful. It's very durable. Well, I guess compared to the gimbal I had previously, which was the Zion Crane, like the very first Crane. I know no one ever talks about it anymore, and I'm pretty sure I know the reason why now. Because of a gimbal like this Moza Aircross 2 is definitely a workhorse for, especially for what I do. Now with the Lumix G7, it can hold this camera easily, no problems at all. Such a smooth video, no jitters. I feel like with this gimbal, I'm like limited to my own imagination when it comes to like camera movement. So I've definitely foreseen myself using this gimbal pretty much forever now. I like it because it's really lightweight, but strong at the same time, if you understand what I'm saying. And the type of work that I do, I'm always in like nightclubs and concerts, and then also I'll make my own YouTube videos. So to be able to have something, especially when I'm doing those nightclubs and concerts, that's light, that can still be powerful and reliable, I love it. And then on top of that, when it comes to the battery life on this thing, the box that it came in says that you can get up to 12 hours of charge after only about an hour and a half of charge. And at the longest, I've shot with this on about an hour and some change, and I can definitely tell you that it definitely lasted that time with no problem at all. I really feel like I could have just kept the gimbal just literally running the whole time, and it probably still would have been okay. I charged it, and I feel like it took less than an hour and a half to fully charge. Now, one thing I can say is the Moza Aircross 2 is kind of expensive. Well, I guess it is. It's expensive for someone who's not getting paid to do work. But if you're down to save a few bucks and you want to get a gimbal that's going to last you some time, the Moza Aircross 2 is great, because I even use it with my Blackmagic pocket camera, which is the camera I'm using right now to film this video. So if you guys are looking to get a gimbal, you're trying to figure out what's going to be the best gimbal for you for your Lumix G7, I would definitely say this is the gimbal for you. But hey, you guys go out there and be great. I'm about to go play with this some more, and I'll see you guys in the next video.